Hey, hey everyone.
Hello.
How's it going?
How are you guys?
Hey. Oh. We hit live for you. It was 8 o'clock.
It was 8 o'clock.
You're a nutball.
I'm gonna steal your water now.
You're stealing my water now?
Yeah.
Give me that microphone.
Oh, you.
Hello, friends. We are up to a bit of shenanigans.
Zaza?
Yeah, there's a lady in the chat named Zaza. They're saying hi to each other. So this is my daughter Zoe, and this is her friend Nick, and we're hanging out doing some slow sewing. I don't know how long. Your head over my shoulder is killing me, Zoe.
Come on my lap, trust.
Anyway, I don't know how long we'll be here, but I am doing some slow sewing tonight, and they were super excited for some reason about being on the live tonight.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, anyway. Anywho, we've got a few people in the chat, so let's say hi to people. We've got Math Geek, that is Shelby. She says, happy Friday, everyone.
Yo yo. Happy Friday.
Laura Supp is here. She says, hello. Let me scroll up. Linda says, we are just now recuperating from the flu at our house. This is our first day that I felt human in over a week.
Honestly, I feel that. Ooh, Texas.
Rose City, Texas.
That's
Zaza is
far away.
Oh, we got people further than Texas.
I have family in New Zealand.
Well, yes, you do.
Yes, I do.
We've got Jonathan singing along. Zaza is here. Hello. Diane Pratt says,
Hi,
what are we
Zaza.
sewing? Hello, Zaza. She likes your name. We're going to do Hexis, and we'll talk about that in just a few more minutes. That's what these are called, Hexis. Hand
They
sewing.
look like flowers.
Well, yes, they look like flowers when you put them together. They're actually called, I think, Grandma's Flower Garden when you put them all together. So that's what I'm going to be working on, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. Oh, I missed a whole lot of people, so we'll just skip down to the bottom.
I had to explain to this one who Ian was. Because I
Ian,
understood it. And then
You got the
she
assignment?
didn't. Yeah.
You got the
Ohio.
assignment. All right.
North Alabama.
North Alabama. All right, so this is, oh, look, there's Donna, Miss Donna. Miss Donna. Remember she came and looked at your toe when she was here, when you had the ingrown toenail? All right, so.
Someone's from I used to live in Florida.
Oh, there's a few people
What
from
part?
Florida.
What part of Florida?
Okay, there's a 30-second delay, FYI. So you'll have to wait for that answer. Kimberly is from
I
Australia.
expect it.
Shirley is from Ontario, Canada. Jeanette says, I love half hexagons. They make such great patterns, including Grandma's Flower Gardens. Awesome. Susan said, wow, totally skipped me, Becca. Nope, didn't skip you. I see you. Donna said, oh, toe girl. She don't remember me. Purpose and Mind is here from Tasmania. We've got Joyce from Idaho. Laura is in Arizona. Darlene is in Florida. We've got Shia, the eccentric quilter from Louisiana.
St. Augustine.
I love St. Augustine.
Oh, that was like an hour away from where I lived.
In Florida, isn't everything just an hour away?
No. Listen, I was in a small town, okay?
That's fine. Hello, Texas here. We've got lots of, Mama is here. There's Grandma. All right, so I've got a couple of housekeeping things that I gotta talk about. I would be remiss if I did not show you guys where you can get some behind the scenes posts and updates for me.
Zoe, are you going to quilt?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
this one's
funny.
totally gonna quilt.
No, she probably won't. In fact, I'm pretty sure they'll abandon me in about 5 minutes when it gets boring for them.
We're making a board game.
They're making their own board game, and they can do that.
It's going to be so cool.
Yeah.
Better than this.
My sister made all the
Better than
rules.
all
She's 10.
this. Better than all of this.
Oh my gosh.
Trust.
Oh my gosh.
Trust, guys.
Anyway, so where was I going?
Housekeeping.
Oh, housekeeping,
Yeah.
yes. So I've been active on
See,
my
I pay
Facebook page. Yeah. Are you guys done? Are you done? Are you done? Are you done?
Mentally, no. I'm
No,
never
Zoe's
done.
done. Yeah, she's
You
like,
want
we're
us to
done.
leave?
No, wait, no, I wasn't.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, well, normally she doesn't want to be on camera at all. And now she wants to be on the whole thing.
Look at your face.
Oh my God, that's why, because she just wants to make faces over my shoulder. Okay, so let's, we'll look for your Kickstarter. They're talking about your game. They're going to make a Kickstarter campaign for you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go back and we're going to actually get through this sentence this
No,
time.
you're not.
On Facebook, I have been using my public Facebook page to do a lot of behind the scenes posts and videos and updates. And I want to make sure that you guys are aware that that exists out there. It can be a little confusing on Facebook because there is the So Becca and Friends Facebook group, which is where we hang out at on Friday nights. But there's about 5,000 of you there. And there's only about 1,900 of you following my public page. So I want to show you how to follow that page. I have the wrong window up. Let me get, can you guys see?
Why
You
that
can.
looks so
Okay.
weird? Why did it open
So,
like that? Sorry.
So we're going to go, when you open up Facebook, you can click on the link in the description box down below, or you can just go to facebook.com/SoBeccaLLC. You guys stop. You're killing me. So Becca LLC. And when you open the page up, there will be an option to click like or follow. I can't remember what it is. And of course, I can't demonstrate that for you because I am logged in as the page. But if I switch to my personal profile, and then I go back to So Becca, I just search for So Becca. There's my face. Make sure to click on the one that says So Becca. And then you just want to click on this follow button. And then if you want to get into the group, you can click on the visit group as well. And all that's going to do is let you see all of the updates that I've been posting. So anytime I have an announcement, an update or whatever, we've been doing a better job of trying to keep everything here. So that's where you can find me if you can't find, that's where you can find me. So there you go. That's the housekeeping announcement that I had for today. Okay, where did the chat go? Nothing to see here. We popped out. Yeah, fix my chat. Dang it.
Live chat.
Let's
Fix the
pop it
chat.
out. Fix the
Fix
chat.
that chat.
W in the
Fix that
chat. W in the chat.
W
Oh,
in the
yeah.
chat.
You guys are, literally people are unsubscribing as we speak. All right. Okay. So what am I going to be working on? You asked what Hexis were. So let me show them what I'm going to be working on. Get my mouse out of the way.
camera
Oh, there's cameras everywhere. I've got 3 cameras. See?
Is there a camera in the toilet? Do they see me poo?
No, they don't. They don't.
They should.
So Hexis are they're basically hexagon shapes. What I have been asking, okay, you guys go. No, we're kicking you out. Bye, love you, mean it. See ya.
Bye, dog. You're mean.
I'll see you later. We'll go back in later, like unannounced.
Go play your game. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to get anything done with the 2 of those goofballs sitting here. So we got to kick them out and get to work. Folks are asking what I'm going to be working on tonight, and I am going to be working on the Hexi collab that we are working on together. So as a reminder, I have put a call out for 1-inch basted Hexis, and I have got several that were mailed into me over the course of the past couple of weeks. Some of them I've already put together, some of them I had before I put the call out, and these have not been sewn together. And so I figured tonight we would have a slow sew night doing some English paper piecing. And because I'm doing it as a slow sew, I should be able to keep a better eye on the chat. So I'm going to keep an eye on what you guys are saying while I also work through what we're sewing together tonight. So just give me a moment to slide my camera over a bit. Also, I want to highlight the quilt that is hanging up behind me. I think this is the one that I started last week on the live stream. This is the porch rails pattern that I did from the Fabric Cafe 3-yard quilts. It's finished, well, pieced. It's pieced and ready to go on the long arm. So I was able to get that done. And there will be posts of it on social media. So if you want to see how this turns out, or you want to see the full post, go follow me on my main Facebook page so that you can see those photos when they're released. Also, I want to let you know that the podcast episode that I dropped with Ian and I have a podcast over at sewoffkilter.com. or Sew Off Kilter, sorry. Sew Off Kilter is the channel name. We did an episode this week talking all about the different stitching or this stitching stuff that I've been doing. I'm going to move my face over here so you can see the fabric. I've been doing a lot of hand piecing lately, and so we talked about this, and I talked about my journey into EPP, and I transitioned as much knowledge as I had. Some of it might be right, some of it might be wrong, but I definitely shared a lot of this process with him on the podcast. So if you have not gone and checked out the podcast, please do so. And speaking of podcasts, we are coming up on the 1 year anniversary of our first episode. And so we're asking the community to help us with a Q&A episode. You can send in questions that you would like us to answer or topics you would like us to cover in that episode. And you can do it either by recording a video clip, and we'll include that in our video, or if you're okay with your voice being on, but not your face in a video clip, you can just record a voice memo on your phone and email that in, or you can just type your question in an email to either Ian or myself. And so Ian will drop the emails both in the chat. So I am going to get started sewing. I'm going to let you know that the thread I'm using is 100 weight Invisifil thread. This is a polyester. It is very, very thin. It's going to be really hard for you to see on camera, but I promise you it is there. When we recorded the podcast episode, I told Ian that I actually did not like the 100 weight thread. I felt like it was too delicate and it just wasn't for me. And I rescind that statement. I love the 100 weight thread. So here we go. I am going to be sewing as many of these together as I can. I know I'm not going to get through them tonight, but I figure having a couple hours to sit and slow stitch would be nice. Let me move my face again. Sorry, because now it's in the way of my... That should work. Unfortunately, we're just going to have to cover up over there. Ian said, it's so thin, I can't even see it on camera. Michelle said, 1 year for the podcast. Wow, I know. I can't believe that it's been a whole year. Judy said, the Hexis that we send should be glue basted and not sewn together. Is that right? Yeah, that would be great. If you decide to sew them together, that's fine. I will still work them into the quilt, but please keep them in flowers that look like this. So 1 in the middle, 6 going around, and please make sure you are using 1-inch Hexis, whether you are basting it together or sewing it. Either way is fine. But if you are not into hand piecing, you could just glue it down and send it in. I use 100 weight thread, Laura says, and I love it. I am loving, like I might be a convert to the 100 weight thread. I will say, yes, Claudia, 1 inch, 1 inch. Hello, Donna, she says, good evening, folks. Hello, hello, hello. I will say I tried over the past week or so working a little bit more with the 80 weight Aurifil cotton thread, and it just does not hold up to EPP as well as this Wonderfil thread does. And I think it's because it's a cotton thread and just when you keep putting it through the fabric, I think the friction wears the thread down a bit more. I have found that like a beeswax or a thread gloss or something really helps with that, but it is what it is. Speaking of, Jonathan is asking, what brand of thread do you use on your long arm? I actually use Glide Poly, 40 weight Glide on the long arm. I used to use Aurifil exclusively over there, but the Glide has a sheen to it, and I feel like the colors just, like, they look a little bit nicer on the quilt. So I switched to the Glide. Plus it's less lint, so that's great. Shell's Stitch and More said, you said to send to a P.O. box. The address on your website, is that the right one? Yes, it is. It's a box at a UPS store in the area. So yeah, you just send that on. Aurifil 80 weight just snaps. Yes, I've felt the same thing, Zaza. It snaps, and sometimes it starts to shred a little bit, but mostly it just snaps, even when I'm not pulling on the thread tightly, even when I'm just being delicate. Stephanie Beatty says, I finally caught a live. Thank you for some awesome block patterns. You're welcome. I'm glad you're enjoying them. So I see Ian is talking to Irish Sale Lady about post office and packages and things. So I figure this would be a good time to tell you about a story that I have dealt with this week. So Thursday, I'm at work and I get a call from my husband, who never calls me at work, but he called me at work. So I knew something was up. I answered the phone and he said, do you have a package for UPS to pick up? And I said, no, why? And he said, well, the UPS guy is here and he says he has a package to pick up for you. And I was like, no, I promise you I don't. He was like, well, this is the second day in a row he's been here looking for a package to pick up for Becca. And I was like, okay, no, that's not right. So he told him that there was no package, and the guy went on about his merry way. Well, I had the day off today, and so I was sitting in my sewing room, and the UPS truck pulls up, and our UPS driver gets out, and he comes up to the door, and I was like, yeah? He said, do you have a package here? And I said, no. He said, well, they have you in here for daily pickup every day between 2 and 5. And I was like, why? So he was a little flustered, but yeah, I was like, I don't know how that happened, but I have no packages. I don't mail things that frequently. No, nothing here. So he ended up going in and canceling it. But that was a little bit of a kerfuffle that we had to deal with this week. All right, I'm going to tie that knot there. So I'm trying a new technique. What I was doing is sewing all around the center one and then going back and filling in the petals. But I'm going to try a different technique this time where I sew the petals together and then attach it to the center, because I think that'll, I'll be able to sew two sides before I have to break thread. I think this might be a little bit more efficient, but I don't know. We'll see. Oh, Ian, thank you so much for gifting those memberships. I appreciate you. So tomorrow, hubby and I are going to have a day date. We're going to start with breakfast. Yum. We're going to go out to breakfast. And then we're going to go to the Stonehouse Quilters Guild Show. It's at the Boys and Girls Club in Manassas, Virginia. So I am excited to go and see what quilts they have on display and check out the vendors. This is a quilt show that we usually go to together, so I'm really excited to be able to go and look at some quilts with the husband. Sometimes when I'm sewing, and I know you can't even see the thread, so I don't know why I'm even doing the top-down camera, but sometimes when I'm sewing, I get a little loop that doesn't lay flat, and so I just find if I put my needle in that— oh my God! Hold on. No, don't do that. Oh my God. Ugh. Teenagers. They are in for it tonight. Let's wait and see what you all say about that moment. Anyway, so I get a little bit of a loop and I just put the needle in there and pull it back out a bit. And sometimes, and of course it's not happening this way, sometimes most of the time it lays flat, but I feel like, there we go. It's moving now. Anybody else just scream? Anybody else pee their pants? These two. I hate jump scares, FYI. I hate jump scares. It was startling. Gave a bunch of us a heart attack. Mass casualties all across the nation tonight. So when I'm taking these stitches, I am trying to grab just a couple threads right on the fold. The closer I get to the top where those folds are, the less visible my stitches are going to be. It can be it can be a bit of a pain to get in there, but eventually you get into a muscle memory that makes it a bit easier. What are the benefits of these memberships? So the YouTube Perks program is what is anybody whose name is in green. That's what that is. So that's a channel membership where you get most of the perks are from YouTube directly. YouTube makes your name show up as a bold green and you get a badge next to your name, which can make your name pop out a little bit more for me on live chat, but I will let you know that most of the time my live chat moves so fast that I can't keep up with it. So your name will pop out and I might see yours above everybody else's, but just because your name is in green doesn't mean that I'm always going to see your messages. So that's the first thing. The second thing is once a month I host a Zoom on Sundays, the final Sunday of every month. And if you are on the membership on the website, great. That must have been when they came in and yelled. I got a loop around my fabric. That's lovely. That's lovely. We're just going to go ahead and cut that off. It'll be fine. Anyway, the final Sunday of every month, I do a Zoom from 2 to 6 for both my VIP members as well as channel perk holders. And that link is shared with the YouTube channel perk members on the community page the Saturday before. So next week will be the Zoom. All right, so I am going to go ahead and cut off and we're going to sew on the next petal. Margot says, I didn't jump, but my cat scrammed off my lap. Margot says, I'm surprised they did it during a live. Listen, they did it during a live. They did it because I am live. Teenagers, right? The one that I'm sewing together, it was sent in from Betty Watson, by the way. Ow! I just stabbed myself. So what are you guys working on tonight? I'd love to know. Put it in the chat. Let me know what you're doing tonight. Shell says, next Saturday, I'll be exploring a new place we're moving to. That's awesome. Congratulations on the upcoming move. I hope it goes well for you. Linda said, teenagers pranking mom. Yep. That's what happens when a couple of 14-year-old girls have a sleepover. This is what my house has turned into. Ian said, don't poke yourself. Well, too little too late for that. I'm just glad I didn't embed the needle in my finger when they jumped in here. Mm-hmm. Nanny J is taking a rest. She has a vacation and tomorrow she's going on a cruise. Awesome. Nancy Jean says, I'm watching you poke yourself. That's what I'm doing. Claudia says, slow sewing here while laying in bed watching you. I love how portable this is. So Nick came home with Zoe from school today because Nick's spending the night. And so, sorry, Zoe's school ends at 2:10 now. High school starts at 7:30 and ends at 2:10. So she's home by 2:30. So 2:30 they walk in the door, and about 3:20 they tell me, "Oh, by the way, Nick's mom is going to be at the Dunkin' Donuts at 4:40 and just having a small get together, and we want to go to that." So I was like, okay, fine. So we packed up and we went. I took some Hexis with me and I sat and talked to Nick's mom and hung out there for probably about 45 minutes or so. And I did some sewing while I was talking and just waiting for everything, waiting for the kids and whatnot. When we left the Dunkin' Donuts, I figured we were just going to come home, but then they wanted to go to the park. And so we drove over to a park in the area, and they got out and ran around, had a lot of fun. That was fine. But I just sat in the car, and the weather has been beautiful lately. So I rolled the window down, I turned off the car, and I just sat and worked on Hexis. And it was such a zen. I was just like, do, 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 sewing my Hexis. And then when they finally did come back, they were gone for about a half an hour playing. And they came back and they're like, "Oh, that was a lot of fun." I was like, "Oh, sad, you're back." Okay, so this might be a bit of an issue. Do you see how that's not right up against the petal? I'm going to see if I can work it in, but maybe sewing around the center and then doing the petals together is the better way to go, because the center will lay a little bit flatter. Let me know if you guys do Hexis, which way do you do? Do. Donna Forrest says, "I'm feeding the horses, then continuing to straighten up after my week-long retreat in Paducah, Kentucky. Once straightened, I'll continue with some UFOs." I hope you had fun in Paducah, Donna. That sounds like fun. I've never been, and that is on my bucket list of places to go. Linda says, "I'm a bit jealous of your ability to do handwork. I got tendonitis in my right hand that's refusing to improve." Oh, I'm so sorry. Somebody's asking about TSA guidelines for scissors. I think the blade has to be less than 4 inches from the inset to the tip of the scissors in order for them to be in a carry-on. Darlene says, "I received my Hexie and stickers. Thank you, Becca. You're welcome. Enjoy." Jennifer says, "Petals around the center, then sew the petals together." Yeah, thank you, Jen. This is the first time that I've not done that. I just wanted to see what would happen. But I think I'm going to be returning to sewing the petals around the center and then sewing the petals together after I do this one. Like, I'm literally going to pick right back up. I'm not even going to wait for the next Hexie. I'm just going to sew this to the center and then move on. Sally is canning tomatoes and watching. Wonderful. Yum, yum, yum. Hello, Danelle. Donna Forrest says, "It was absolutely fabulous. Check out PQR Paducah Quilt Retreats for openings. I'm heading back in March." Enjoy. Good night, Ian. See y'all later. Or see you later. He's got company coming over this weekend, so I talked to him a little while ago, and he said he's got to get his place all straightened up and tidied. I guess the friend that's coming to visit him this weekend is a local friend and does a bit of sewing himself. So I think he's spending the weekend with Ian so he can finish up a project that he started. So they'll be having a little sew-a-thon together at his house. Who would have known a year ago that I would be sitting here working on hand piecing? Like, seriously. So what I might do tonight, rather than finishing all of these, I might just sew all the petals around the centers, which will get them a good bit done. And I feel like I'm a little bit faster at doing that than sewing the petals to each other. Shirley says, I usually sew based. What glue do you use for glue basting? I have been using the Sew Line fabric glue, but Elmer's glue stick works just as well. Can't get the needle into the thread. Get it? Or the needle into the fabric. That's what I meant. I love, that one is super blue. Super, I love the blue. Yeah, it's really pretty. I feel like if I just sit here and sew the petals onto the center, then you'll be able to see what these look like as they start to come to life. And it'll keep me a bit more organized because then I'll have everything literally attached and all I have to do is just secure the petals. Amazon has glue sticks and they're cheap and they work great. That's awesome. Yes, I agree. Purpose and Mind says, I've seen some sew petals to the center, then remove the center paper to make it more flexible before stitching the two petals together. Yes, I've done that too. But I actually am not using really thick cardstock and it folds just fine. So I'll leave it in or remove it. Either way is fine. See, Tiffany's in the chat. She said, I never thought you would become a hand sewer. I know, like who am I, right? Who am I? Ian asks me that question on a monthly basis now. Lisa says, I purchased small glue sticks when they were on sale for school supplies. That's a great idea. And they might still be on sale for school supplies. Obviously, my child is back in school, but I don't think all the kids across the country are back yet. Pumpkins Patchwork says, I received stickers, thanks, but not the Hexis. I only had so many Hexis to give out. So there were a ton of people that asked for them. So we ran out. And I think the way we prioritized it is if you asked for a Hexi and I ran out, we still tried to send stickers. I don't know if Mary put a note in there letting you know that we had run out, but y'all asked for Hexis and I did not have enough to go around. So we went by timestamp of when the emails came in. Leslie Kendall says, have you tried the flatback technique yet? Yes, I have. I am using a whip stitch right now, but I can demonstrate the flatback method in a moment after I get through this seam. Donna says, be careful because they do get old. I think she is talking a bit about the glue. There we go. Yes, hand sewing is very meditative. I see a lot of people in the chat are saying the same thing. It's very calming. Karen says, I like your Hexi tray. Is it just a baking sheet? It is like a lunch tray. I bought a set of 10 of them, and I think I have them on my Amazon storefront. I will double check. What I will do is put the link to these, the exact set that I bought, because they came in a set of different colors, in the description box of the video after the live stream is over. So you can pop back over here and get that link. Vicky says, my stitches are showing some. That means that you're taking too big of a bite of fabric. Literally, you just want a couple of threads. And then also look at the weight of the thread that you're using. The thicker the thread is, the more you're going to see it. Becca, where's the 1 inch measured from for the Hexi? So the edge. Each edge on the hexagon is 1 inch, and that's why they call it a 1 inch Hexi. Hey, John, how are you? You guys, John's got a sew-along happening over in his community. You'll want to check that out. You know, I was thinking about you today, Johnny boy. I was thinking about you today because I have that book of your mini blocks. I was going to pull it out and start working on that. Try and do like a block a week and see if I can get through it. We'll see. I was wondering, hold on. I was wondering, have you sent the small quilt? No, I have not, Linda. They are still sitting here. They will go out in this weekend's mail. Last weekend was crazy. I couldn't get anything out in the mail. I think they've been sitting here for a week or two, but they will be going out in tomorrow's mail. I was wondering, have you sent, oh, nope, I answered that one already. All right, let me see. I think that's good. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and knot. I just do 2 knots. And so the way I do it is I just put the needle right through the fabric where I'm gonna take a stitch, and I pull it through until I have just a little loop, and I'll put the the point of the needle through that loop, give it a tug, and I'll do the same thing in the same spot, and give it another tug, and that just kind of knots it twice in the same spot, and I'll trim off the thread. So this is the first Hexie that we have petals assigned to. Oh my gosh. That's why the UPS guy was here to pick up the packages. Yeah, they don't have postage on them for UPS, so that would be really weird. He was like, hey, they want their stuff. Get it out in the mail. Okay, let me first demonstrate, and I did demonstrate this on the podcast because I'm going to need some more thread. I'm going to demonstrate this needle threader. This is the same type of needle threader that, and I do have this linked on my Amazon storefront, which Ian, I think I've got the link. Let me double check. I'm going to try and see if I can drop the link really quick in the chat because my Amazon storefront is live. I've got all of my go-to hold on. I've got all of my go-to items on the storefront. So, oh, and then I can get the link to the trays while I'm here too. Gotta sign in. Why was I not signed in? I got signed out. Ugh. It wants Touch ID, and the fingerprint is way up there. Okay. All right. First, let me get the tray. It's taking a minute to load. It's like somebody's eating up all the bandwidth on the internet before. Maybe me. Here it is. View your item, get link, copy, and then I will also make this ready because somebody else is going to ask. Put this in here. We'll put trays. Okay. Then let me just fix this. Okay, and then one more. I gotta get, I'm almost there, guys. I'm almost there. Got a creak in my neck. It's weird. We're going to go to here. So many clicks, so many clicks. Okay. Oh, well, that's easy. It was just shop. Fine. I could have figured that out on my own. Okay, one more change. And now I can minimize this and go back to the chat. There we go. Okay, so this is the link for my trays, and this is the link for my Amazon storefront. There you go. And I will try to remember to put both of those in the description box of the video. So this needle threader is actually it's on my Amazon storefront. And I like it because there are two needle threaders on here. There's a bigger one and a smaller one. So this smaller hole is good for really fine needles, which is what I use for EPP, but this bigger hole is good for regular needles, especially something like cross stitch or whatever. Anyway, so the way it works is you put the needle down inside the hole with the eye going down. You cut off a length of thread. And then I turn it towards me. I wrap the thread right in here and I hold onto it while I push this button that's right here. And then it's going to just push a little bit of the thread out on the side. You can't even see it because this is a 100-weight thread. And I just pull it through and then I lift the needle out and it has the thread. Again, you can't see. I promise you there's thread there, but the needle is threaded. So I don't have to worry about trying to see the eye of the needle anymore. This is a game changer for hand sewing. Hey Mac, how are you? Don't forget, guys, Mac just reminded me with her dropping into the chat. I know several of you in the chat have your own YouTube channel, and if you would like to promote yourself here, you are welcome to do so with typing exclamation mark selfie in the chat. The bot will get your YouTube link and drop it so people can check out your content. Yes, it is the bow and needle threader, Zaza. Yes. And I have a link to it on my Amazon storefront. All right, so somebody was asking about the flat back stitch. So I'll show you by just trying to sew two of the petals together what I've been doing for the flat back stitch. This is a little finicky and I'm still new to it, so just bear with me. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is put the needle in to the seam so that I'm gonna bury my thread. I'll pull that all the way through. And then this is a little bit easier to do because if you're having problems with your stitches showing, if your whip stitches aren't tiny enough, this is a good method for you because you can take bigger chunks of fabric. But the trade-off is it can be a little finicky to hold. And so having it on a hard surface to work through is a little bit easier than holding it by hand, I find. But you can do it by hand. You just got to be careful of how you're doing this. One of the things that I found is if I take a Wonder clip or a Sew Tite, I just have a clip here, so that's what I'm going to use, and you put it at the end that you're going to sew towards to hold it together, that makes it a bit easier. And then you're just going to come in and you're going to take a bite of fabric from the back of one hexagon and then go across the river and take a bite of fabric on the other side. And those bites of fabric can be a little bit bigger than what you were doing with your whip stitch, but you still want them to be small because if they're too big, you're gonna start getting puckers in that seam allowance and you don't want that either. You really just wanna pick up a couple threads from each piece. And I guess might be like a ladder stitch maybe, I don't know. I don't know what it's called in regular sewing, but in the world of EPP, they call this a flat back. Once I get about halfway up or so, I feel like the petals are going to be held together pretty well. And so I'll just drop the clip. If I have a Sew Tite on here, I'd probably just keep the Sew Tite. I feel like the Sew Tites hold on to the fabric and the EPP pieces a bit better than the Wonder clips do. So I would highly recommend those for any sort of pinning or grabbing onto pieces while you're doing EPP. So that's kind of the flat back stitch. I'm working from the back, the piece is flat, and I'm just picking up a couple of threads from the right and then a couple of threads from the left, pulling it, and then repeating that process over again until I get all the way up that seam. Jeanette says, I guess I need to switch to the phone again. The laptop didn't get charged either. Oh no, that's horrible. Susan says, will that threader work for in-betweens used in hand quilting? Yes, I believe so. This threader is game changer. I love it. Ow. You know your needle is sharp when it can literally slide into the first layer of your skin and just hang out there. And yes, it's a teeny tiny poke, and I feel like I say ow, but really it's not pain. It's just the surprise of, ooh, that was sharp. Okay. Almost done with this seam, and then we'll get back to putting petals on the centers. Get in there. It's emotional pain, Jonathan said. Sue Willoughby says, has anyone tried the So Tights Quilters palette for flatback stitching? I saw a video on it. My jaw hit the floor and I immediately ordered one. It is on the way. Once I have it, I will show it in a video and I'll give you my honest review. I'm pretty sure I'm going to like it because I do want to do more with flatback stitches and it seemed to work really nice. So we'll see. We'll see what happens when I get it. All right, last stitch and we'll tie off. Not one. And not two. John says he has a habit of saying ouch when something scares him. Helen says, which of the two weight threads are stronger, higher number or lower? So the higher the number, the thinner the thread is. I think 80 weight is probably stronger than 100 weight. That's just my own personal opinion. However, Wonderfill makes the 80 weight that I was working with as well as this 100 weight, and they're both a poly thread, and so they're pretty strong. I would say this is stronger than even the 80 weight, which is a thicker thread than 80 weight cotton. I would use 100 weight poly from Wonderfill over 80 weight cotton from anybody. Now, if I were sewing in the machine, I would probably use the 80 weight cotton. This one is sent in from LCSD, Linda Durkin, and she gave me this really pretty butterfly with a bunch of butterflies to go around a flower. So we're just going to sew all the butterflies circling the flower. Melissa says, sorry I'm late. I just got home from an all Illinois shop hopping in Chicago for the day. Awesome. Did you have some good finds? Kathy says, I have a question. You showed a small cutting mat that could be large or made very small. What brand was that and do you like yours? It is the Caterpillar flip and fold mat. I love mine. And they have them in 2 different sizes, I think now. There is a link. Let me see. I have a link for you right here. You want to check them out. That's my affiliate link. I'll earn a little bit of a commission for anything that you buy on the website. And I think there might be a coupon code if you use Becca, you might get a little bit of a discount, but I can't remember if that's still active or not. Linda says, I cut those out and then almost didn't send them. Well, look, they're here and they're getting sewn together now. Hey, Eric, how are you? Kat McGowan says she loves her giant flip and fold mat. See, I'm not the only one. Wendy's telling John she loves his patterns. I do too. They're fun. I've in the shop hops I've been doing around Virginia. So Mac has the 3-yard quilt book, the curve appeal book, and John has patterns out. And my friend Erin from Love So Modern has patterns that are printed and in some stores too. So when I go into a shop, my favorite thing to do is to find John's patterns or Mac's book or Erin's patterns and either snap a picture of it and send it to him or high five it and be like, high five. So you guys have collected lots of high fives for me over the past couple months with all the shop hops I've been doing. Melissa said, a few good finds. I got a call after the first of 5 shops that my uncle passed away last night, so my heart just wasn't in it today. Aw, I'm so sorry. Sorry to hear that. Claudia is asking what the palette is. So the palette is a piece of material that is cut almost like a painter's palette. It is from Sew Tights. It is their product, and it is designed for you to put your EPP on upside down so you can do the flat back stitch, but also put Sew Tights on your fabric so it'll hold the pieces. You put one piece on the bottom of the palette and another piece on top of the fabric or the EPP piece that you're sewing that's on top of the palette, and it holds it in place while you do the flat back stitch. Okay, so we've got one butterfly going this way. We'll have another one go this way. Oh, I'm going up. Okay. Then I want to go try and make them go in a fun direction. I want them all, if I can, I want to try and make them all flying away from the center petal. What size trays are they? They are, I don't remember exactly. I think they're like 15 by 11 or something, but the link is in the live chat right now. Yes, you can use magnets with it. Butterflies are cute, aren't they? Hello, Barbara. Welcome to the live chat. We are just having a slow stitching night here. I am working on putting some Hexis together and trying to keep up with the chat as best I can. And getting a bit of a neck cramp at the same time. What is the glue that you use for basting the Hexis? It is a Sew Line glue pen. It is also in my Amazon storefront, which is in the chat. I have a list on that storefront that has all of my go-to notions for EPP. You can check that out and pick up whatever you'd like, but I will also tell you that Elmer's glue sticks work just as well, and they're more affordable. I feel like Poked myself again. I need a shoulder rub. All right, so we've got those. Now I'm going to get this one, and we're going to have him go this way. Are you making these with 1-inch paper templates? Yes, I am. These are 1-inch Hexis that some of you have sent in to me, so thank you for that. This is part of the quilt that I'm making that's going to be called It Takes a Village. So I'm asking everybody to baste 7 Hexis together. Anybody that wants to be in on this. You're going to pick out 1-inch Hexi for the center and then 6 to go around the center, and you're going to drop that in the mail to me. I will sew them together, and then I will put them into a quilt. Or if you want to collab by sewing a bit, you are more than welcome to sew the Hexi and send that in as well. I've had a few people sew them too, and I appreciate that as well. I will eventually work them all into a quilt. I'm going to have to put a deadline on this, so I'll let you know when that is, because I'm not going to be working on this for 50 years. But still got the call right now as of Friday, August 22nd, 2025 is still wide open if you want to drop some Hexis in the mail. Pamela says, you're sewing right next to the paper, right? Yep. And there's probably even a little bit of room between the paper and the fabric because I am just picking up 1 or 2 threads on the very edge. That's all I'm doing. And when I baste these, the other trick that I have is I don't baste them super tight, so I don't have to worry about the paper being in the way. I don't pull them very taut. John said, where is Ian? He could be on shoulder rub duty. Right? He's at home preparing for company this weekend. Shelley says, the teenagers caused your neck pain. You jumped so hard and got up and ran so fast. I've never seen you move that quick. I don't like a jump scare, guys. I don't like them. Has anyone used the Sew Tight dots with EPP? No, but those are in the order that is making its way to me. I've got a palette with some dots, so I'm excited to see how all of that works. I can hear the girls in the other room laughing. They are having a blast. All right. Connie King says, I used the Elmer's glue. I loved it. My only problem was I put on 400 at a time and quite a few dried out and I had to reapply the glue. If there problem, I will do it again. Deb says, mine will be in the mail next week. Awesome. I can't wait to see them. Feel free to sew them if you'd like, Deb, or you can just baste and send. Either way is fine by me. I hope they work out great too. I will say the other Sew Tights that I have been wonderful, so I have no doubt that they'll be game changer. Pamela says, now is the time for revenge. I'm not trying to start a war yet, but it would be funny if somebody went in their room banging with pots and pans at 6 o'clock when they're probably just finally falling asleep. Joan says, I watched your short on the Hexis you received from viewers. It was great to see the different materials. Will you be willing to continue that with the rest of the Hexis? Yes, I am absolutely doing that with the rest of the Hexis. I'm not going to do it every day, but I'm going to try to do, it depends on how often I get the packages. But anytime I stop by the UPS store to pick up mail, whatever Hexis are there, I will be sharing content of that. So make sure to follow me on Facebook and you'll see all the posts and the reels and the fun things that are happening behind the scenes there. I definitely want to create some content around those hexes so that everybody can see what I'm getting and how the projects are coming together. What are sew tights? Barbara is asking. Oh, well, you know, I can show you what a sew tight is because I have one in my little portfolio. This is my Hexi folder. It is the Atlas pouch from Center Street Quilts. So a sew tight is essentially, and they come in different shapes and colors and different strengths, but this is the one that I have here. It is essentially a magnet. It has magnets on the back of the shape and a little metal bar. And the idea here is that you put one piece on one side and you put the magnet back on the other side and it'll hold your fabric together. So in places where you can't pin, maybe like cork fabric or vinyl or something, you would use this. Also, it's great for EPP. And so to get them off, you just have to slide them apart. Don't pry them because it'll hurt your hands. You're just gonna wanna slide it apart. Good night, John. Have a good evening. Thanks for stopping in, buddy. Pat says, please give us at least another month or so to send in. Oh, definitely. I don't think, like, not a problem. We're doing small hexes, so I'm thinking that it'll probably go until the end of the calendar year. But we'll see how much I get. I don't think I'm going to get overrun with hexes before then. Do write your name on the back of at least one of the pieces of paper when you send it in. That way I can remember who these are from. I'm not going to take the papers out of the hexes until the whole quilt is put together. Yeah, it is a cool accessory, Barbara. I love it. My hexes are small enough that I don't feel like I need to use them for this, but if I wanted to, what I would do is line up my raw edges, get it nice and tidy, separate my magnet. I'd put this piece on the back and then the magnet on the front, and that'll hold it together for me so I don't have to pinch it right here. I can loosen my grip a bit, but with these hexes only being 1 inch, it's really not that difficult to hold it in place. When I start working with bigger pieces, then those sew tights really come into play. Christina says, I love EPP. I made an EPP table runner last year and entered it into my local fair. Wonderful. My sister Alicia is here. She's saying hi to everybody in the chat. You remember her? She was here visiting with us at the end of July. Do you know what kind of hexi quilt you're making yet? Nope, I'm just going to take all of these little flowers and I'm going to put them together into a super scrappy hexi quilt. And I'm going to call it It Takes a Village because it will take a village to put this together. Boo, 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 boo. Christina says she found it soothing for the EPP. Yeah, it's very mesmerizing. Oh gosh, Tula Alicia. She said, no, we're not giving away more Tula. Stop it. Tulisha. Shelby said Tulisha. Tulisha. Are you going to put background around the flower? No, that's going to be way too much work. We're just going to sew them together and let it be a scrappy hexi quilt. Okay. Get in the hole. There we go. She sent me back home after that giveaway. Yes, I did. She was like, let's do a giveaway. Let's give away your Tulip Pink. And then I was like, great, you're going home. And then the last one for this one is going to be here. I'll go ahead and use the Sew Tight to hold that together for me. I'm going to cut off some more thread and get my needle threaded. And then I'm going to do my quilter's knot. And if you guys don't know how to do this, I'll demonstrate it for you. Mary showed me how to do this, actually. So what I do is I hold the needle in my right hand because I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, you're going to hold it in your left hand. And I start out with the point of the needle going towards the right. If you're left-handed, the point of the needle is going to go to the left. This hand is going to have the ends of the thread, and this hand has the needle. I'm going to turn my hand this way to point the needle point towards the ends of the threads, and then I'm going to turn the ends of the threads to face the point of the needle. And I'm going to bring them together and make an X with them. So the ends of the thread are kind of going up, and I'm just going to wrap around that needle 3 or 4 times, and then I'll push the needle, the back of the needle with my thumb, grab it with my thumb and forefinger, and just slide that, holding that knot that I wrapped all the way down to the end, and there's a knot right in the end of the thread, which you can't even see because the thread is so fine. Yes, Alicia was very generous with my stash. She did not mind giving away my fabric, did she? How do you cut the fabric for Hexis, Joy is asking. Honestly, you can cut it however you want. One of the things that you can do, I can demonstrate this really quickly. This is my Hexi bin. This is also linked in my Amazon shop. I have a Hexi here, and let's just pretend this is one solid piece of fabric. I can lay it down on the fabric, and I can just rough cut with scissors around there, making sure that I have at least 1/4 inch. Or if you want to fussy cut a bit, they have templates for that. And so I've got a couple here that I can demonstrate. This one, which is going to be probably a little harder to see on camera, this is a Sue Daily 1-inch Hexi. It comes with a 1/4 inch seam allowance around it. So this template, when I lay it down on the fabric, is going to let me see inside the dotted line what will be the finished Hexi. And I'll cut out basically each of the sides will be 1.25 inches because it's going to have the 1/4 inch seam allowance. This one is a 3/4 inch Hexi template with a 3/8 inch seam allowance, and it is from Tulip Pink. So either one of these would work. You just have to make sure that the template that you're using is going to match the paper that you're cutting. And I'm looking for those 1-inch Hexis as a reminder. But like I said, you don't even have to use a template, especially if your fabric is more just like a solid, or there's not a print or a design element that you want to fussy cut out. I have also made my own templates. Check this out. This is so cool. So we're just going to use this one as an example. If this is a Hexi that I have, just a piece of paper, I can lay it down on a cardstock and draw, like measure 1/4 inch away and do all 8 of those sides and then cut that out. I can trace this too, cut out the middle, and so all I'll have left is a ring, and that can be used to fussy cut. You don't have to spend any money on the template. Ow! I literally just stabbed myself. Oh my gosh. The Atlas case, was it tedious to make? No, it really wasn't. It was an easy make. I will say the part that was hard was the zipper, but worth it. definitely worth it. Just give yourself some grace, be patient, and you'll be fine. And if the zipper is a bit much for you, you could always omit that and just do a tie closure or something else. I love it. It's my Hexi folder. Jane is also asking, is that a new quilt hanging behind you? It is, yes. So this is the quilt that I started working on last week. It is using the porch rails pattern from Fabric Cafe, one of their 3-yard quilts. I made it a bit bigger and I modified it. I didn't want to use the border style that they had. So I put a small inner border on there, and I found out that I happened to hop over to the Crabby Quilters website and I saw that they had more of that crab fabric. So I bought 3 yards of it and I made that the bigger border on the outside, and I love how it turned out. It's all pieced together. I pieced it this morning, had the day off work, so I got to have some time in my sewing room sewing. And my hope is to be able to get that on the long arm this weekend and get it all quilted up. Yes. Shelby says you can even just start from a 2.5-inch square. That's how I did. I've got a whole batch of Hexis that I'm putting into a small mini quilt, and every single one of them was from a mini charm pack. I didn't subcut it. I just put the 1-inch Hexi paper on top of the 2.5-inch square, glued and folded. The quilt is very pretty. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Alicia is dropping the link for the Facebook page in the group as well. Don't forget, that's where all of my behind the scenes updates are going. They are cross-posting over to Instagram too, so you can find them on Instagram as well. But I would love it if you would give my public Facebook page a like and a follow so you can be kept in the loop of all the things that we're doing behind the scenes. It's beautiful, Becca. Thank you. Alicia's spam in the chat. I bought 2 yards of the crab fabric and it will be here Monday. Awesome. I love it. I think it's beautiful. I thought for sure they were sold out because I think somebody told me they were sold out. And Saturday I was like, well, I'm just going to go look. And I went and looked and they definitely had yardage of it. So the link that Alicia just spammed in the chat, it's also in the description box down below. But if you click on that, there should be a button that says like or follow. You'll just want to click on that button. And then you'll get updates and notifications whenever you're in Facebook. You'll get to see what I am up to. Leslie's asking, have you tried to thread baste the Hexis too? And the answer is yes, but I'm not great at it and I want to get better. So I'm going to have to practice that a bit more. If you know how to thread baste, you are welcome to do that. If you want to send in some Hexis, you don't have to glue baste, you can thread baste. Like I said, if you want to sew it together too, you are welcome to do that. Just the only real rule is it has to be 1-inch Hexi papers, and you have to write your name on the back of at least one of the papers for your Hexi. Ellen says, I think my problem with EPP is I glue basted too tight. Thanks, Becca. Yes, I was making that mistake too. So just relax your grip a little bit with the glue. Ooh, Carmen says, I spent the day quilting a fall pineapple quilt. It's in the dryer now. So this is the Hexi, the LCSD, dropped in the mail for me. I got a really pretty flower petal with butterflies flying all around it. So we've got 2 petals attached tonight. Let's pick out the next one. Let's do a Christmas print. So this was a fun Christmas one. This is from @CampingChris. Looks like the full name is Chris Dodson, and she gave me 3 print cuts of 2 different fabrics so I could alternate how they're going together. So this is going to be what we do. just going to try to get this. I think I'm going to do it something like that. So we're going to start by putting this one up here, and I'm going to leave them laid out like this so I have them oriented the right way. Linda is asking, have you seen the new Emerald City Minky? It's super cute witches print. No, I haven't, but I bet Alicia would love it. She loves all that Halloween stuff. And I'm sure Ian probably already has seen it too. He's into Halloween, really. Catching up. So Becca, worried about running out of glue? Did you see all those glue sticks? Yeah, I was. And that's not even the entire collection, but yeah, yes, I was. Sorry. Carmen says, I've never done EPP before. It scares me. It can be a little intimidating, but it's not difficult. You just have to give yourself the room to try and understand that it's not going to be perfect the first one out of the gate. I just love how portable it is. Shelly says, my envelope is already sealed and I didn't sign the back of one of the Hexis. Don't worry about it. If you didn't sign the back of one of the Hexis, I am looking for that. And if you missed it, I will write your name on the back of it so I know who it is. But if you could do me a solid, if the Hexis are not sealed in an envelope, please just write your name on one of the papers. That would be great. Jonathan says he is on his second Halloween quilt this year. Oh my goodness. Well, I guess I've made one. I gave it away already. Oh boy. Barbara Iverson says, today I quilted an older bow tie quilt top, maybe 8 years old. Maybe 8 years ago, I put it together. It looks really nice. Well, I'm glad you got that finished. There's nothing better than putting the final stitches on a quilt. Hello, Shirley in Alaska. Hello, hello, hello. Shirley says, I want to try doing EPP. It's a great thing to do while sitting with hubby during his dialysis and chemo. Yes, it is. It keeps your hands busy and it's very therapeutic. It's very relaxing. So I feel like it kind of keeps me calm too. It's like my own little fidget toy. I would like to make the EPPs to send to you. That's great, Lavina. Feel free. You are welcome to sew them together if you would like to. Joy says, did you all see the Halloween bundle that Tasha Quilts showed yesterday? It was beautiful, and I bet Ian would love it. No, I didn't. You should send him a link to his email, offkiltercrafterian@gmail.com. Cynthia says, this looks so relaxing. I think I'm gonna give it a try. You should. And we're gonna try to do some more slow sews here. This is nice because I'm able to keep up with the chat a little bit more than when I'm sewing and actively working on a project and trying to teach. And I miss the opportunity to be able to interact with you guys a little bit more. So, my hope is at least once a quarter or so, we'll pull out a slow stitch project and just work on it. But if this goes over well and you guys really like it, we'll do it more frequently than that because I'm always working on a slow stitch, especially lately. I've been bitten by the bug. I feel like it's so funny how I've just regressed from like all computerized everything to mechanical machine, then to vintage machines, and now to hand sewing. What? Who am I? What? Invasion of the body snatchers. Yeah, the Facebook. So want to just make sure I'm touching on that. Do I have a link for the thread gloss that I was showing on the podcast? Yes, I do. It is in my Amazon storefront, which I have just linked in the description box down below. So you can pop over there and find all of my favorite supplies for piecing and quilting, whether it's hand piecing or traditional piecing. I've tried to organize it by the different type of product it is. So like starching or pressing and then cutting and then EPP. So yeah, that should work. Carmen says, this is a nice paced chat. I agree. Oh, so the Facebook thing, I was going to tell you, there are two different Facebook things. There's the Facebook group where we share things, and that's where you guys post pictures to, and I show on the live stream. But then there's the Facebook page, which is just kind of like a website, but it's on Facebook where you can get updates and things just fed directly to your news feed. Have you stopped using the Loctite? Yeah, I did. I stopped using the So Tight Mag. It's right here. And it's because these 1-inch Hexis are so easy to hold with my hand that I don't really need it. I find that these come in handier if I'm doing flat back stitching or if I'm working with bigger pieces. Where are you buying your EPP papers? Amazon. But you can also make them. You can also make them. For 1-inch hexi papers, they are just, every side of that hexagon is 1 inch. So you could draw it out on a piece of cardstock and cut it out. They also have hole punches out there that make them, but I don't know much about them, so I don't want to recommend anything until I have a chance to figure out if it would work for me and which one you would use. Oh, my loop. There we go. Oh, come back here. There we go. Get in there. I forgot to tell you guys who made this one, didn't I? Oh, no, I didn't. It's Chris Dodson. Chris Dodson basted this one. A Cricut machine works great for templates, Eddie says. Yep, that's right. Is it Edie? Yeah, probably Edie, not Eddie. A Cricut machine you can do that for. And there are actually SVG templates that you can buy on Etsy to cut them out for you so you don't have to do any of the work. What else have you said that you'll never do that you'll do next? Probably hand quilting. I could see that happening. I've said I would never hand quilt, and here I am, hand piecing. So don't be surprised if sometime over the next year you see me hand quilting something small. Becca, is your thread single or double? It is a double. I am doubling up. And I am using 100-weight thread. Yes, Wendy is saying, Becca, do you know that there are Tula Pink embroidery designs on OESD? Yes, there are. There are also long arm pantographs from Tula Pink on OESD, and I have bought a few of those. Ooh, need my husband to come in here and rub my shoulders. Linda says hand quilting is really fun. I think I'm going to do some big stitch quilting. I was actually thinking about doing that tonight because I told you all last week that we would do some slow stitching tonight. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go into my little bucket of orphan blocks. I will baste something together and then I will just do big stitch quilting. And I was like, you know what? I'm not sure. I've got all these Hexis to put together that people have mailed to me. So I think I'm just going to sit down and work on some Hexis while I chat with you guys. Oh. Wendy said, yes, I immediately thought of you when I saw them. Awesome. I picked them up already. I think I got some of them at QuiltCon because they had a booth at QuiltCon in Phoenix. Amazon has, Connie King said, Amazon has little Hexi paper, little Hexi makers, about $15. I got 20 from each cardstock paper. Oh, that's awesome. See, save some money. Barbara says, I hand quilted the last quilt I made for a friend. It was a challenge, but I could not use my sewing machine due to a broken shoulder and an elbow that was still healing. Connie says, Becca, they may want to get the same card each time because I have found purchasing 2 different brands, the sizes can be different. Oh, okay. Nice tip. Kathy said she has the Asperfort Craft Lever Punch 2-inch DIY handmade hexagon paper punch, and it works great. I think the punches measure the hexagon differently. I think they go from side to side or corner to corner, not how big the one side is. So just realize that if you buy a 1-inch punch, you're not going to be able to make a 1-inch hexagon out of that. Can the papers be reused once you remove them from the finished quilt? Yes, I have actually. I actually have some Hexis that I've pulled out and reused, as long as they're not ripped up. And if you're sewing right next to the paper, you shouldn't be piercing it at all. Come on, get in there. There we go. Has anyone used the scan and cut to make Hexis, and how did it go? I have not. I know Mary has a scan and cut, but I don't think she's used it for that. Susan Year Out says, I really enjoy the hand quilting. I have to layer and baste the map panel to hand quilt it. I think I will probably enjoy it too. We'll see what happens. Sherry says, that's how I first learned how to piece and quilt, by hand. I will tell you, this is actually more comfortable. Yep, I got it, Betty. But right here, there's your Hexi. I will tell you, it is more comfortable doing this sitting in my chair at home. I think the reason why I'm having an issue is because I'm hunched over the table to do this, and that's not my usual position when I'm sewing Hexis. I'm sitting in a more relaxed position. Auntie Caroline says, have you used the featherweight petal cover yet, and do you like it? I have used it. I do like it, and I like it so much that I loaned it to a friend to try with her 301. She was thinking about buying one, and she was over here last weekend, so I told her she could just borrow mine to see if she likes it, and if she does, when she gets hers, she can just give me that one back. How does the glue feel when removing the paper? Fine, no issues. I'll show you on Betty's, the blue and yellow one that I have right here, what it's like to remove one of those papers that have glue on it. Let me show you. All right, I'm going to pause here, move that out of the way. So once I have, I don't know if I want to remove there. Do I have the centers out of, oh, here's one from, these are two from Helen that she sent in to me that I've already done. So I want to make sure I'm giving credit to those. I'm going to pull out this one from Deanna. She gave me enough to make a couple. I don't want to pull the center out of that one yet. So to pull the center out, what I do, and you'll see this is creased all different ways because I just fold. The paper just gets folded with it. Because I'm not using a super thick cardstock, it folds just fine. But when I'm ready to remove a paper, I'm just going to gently lift the fabric that is glued down around about half of that hexie. And then I'm just going to lift, put my finger in there, lift, and I should be able to pull it out. I like to lift the fabric off of the paper because then it doesn't put any tension on the seam. But that's it, really easy to do. You're not ripping anything, you're just lifting the glued fabric off of the paper and then pulling it out. What kind of double-sided tape from Warm and Natural for binding to fold over your hexie, then sew it down? Oh, what if you used the double-sided tape from Warm and Natural for binding to fold over your hexies? Yeah, I think that would work too. I think that would work too. Give it a try. You just want something that's temporary, that's going to hold that fabric to the paper and can easily be removed. Before I did a bunch of those, I would try doing that on a piece of cardstock with a bit of scrap fabric to see how hard it is to remove the paper from it after it's dried and been on there for a little bit. That would be a good test. Alicia says, when I was a kid, I would love putting glue on my hands and peeling it off. I think everybody did. I know I did. Probably came by that naturally, huh? You're welcome, Leslie. Yes, Ian, Jonathan's asking, doesn't Ian complain every time he sits in her chair? Yes, he does. And Mary does too. Truthfully, I do need a new sewing chair. But I really like this one and it's still good. It's just the hydraulics on it are not as great. Okay, I'm going to go this way for a minute because I need to sit back instead of hunching over the table. Linda says, I cannot see me sticking with making hexies, and I have about 50 done in Tula fabric. Is that too many to send? They're really cute. No, send them. I might not use all of them in the same project, but feel free to send them. I actually had a lady, she sent me a bunch of hexie papers that she had cut out and a bunch of hexie fabric that was cut out. They weren't basted, but she sent a pile of them to me. Oh, I actually got to get that package in the mail to her too. We did a trade. She sent me a EPP die and I told her I would send her some fabric in exchange for it. So she sent me a hexie die, and in there she also gave me a bunch of papers and fabric that was pre-cut. I took it. All right, so here we go. Oh, I can actually do it this way too, can't I? I've got one more to put on here. We're going to put it right there. Just going to line up those edges. think I'm going to use the Sew Tight. Dee Dee says, I've never seen EPP done before. Are you using any special 100-weight thread and knotting after each stitch? I am using Wonderfill 100-weight Invisifil thread. I am not knotting after each stitch, but I am knotting at the beginning and end of each edge. And then I'm just whip stitching. There's no sounds of Ruby running. This is a different type of live stream, isn't it? Janet says, hello everyone. I had to do a Costco run. Hello. You're welcome, Dee Dee. She said, thank you for the explanation. Ow. Poked myself again. Get right in there. There we go. What size needle do you recommend? I usually use a size 10. I really like the Sue Daily needles. Those are my favorite, but if I can't, the Sue Daily Milliners size 10, those are my go-to. But if I can't get those, I'll use a Tulip Milliners size 10. When people talk about machine stitching them, what? How? Okay, so they are essentially putting them together with a zigzag shape or with a zigzag stitch. They're just butting it up next to each other and zigzagging right here to hold them together. Sarah says, Becca, are you interested in doing other EPP shapes? Oh, girl. Oh, girl. Yes. In fact, now that I have this last side sewed on, let's take a break from Hexis for a moment and let me show you. Whew, hold on. So this tray, I'm going to put over here because I've got some of my bookcases, I've got the shelves more narrow right here, and every time all of my active EPP is on a tray. And so these are all of my friend Hexis, and I just slide it right in here. And that way, when I'm ready to work on it, I just slide this out and I take it with me wherever I'm going. I don't have to, I can either put it in my binder or whatever. I've got 2 Hexi projects going. I have, well, 3 technically. I have the friend Hexi that you saw, but I also have, let me just give you the full camera. I also have this Halloween one that I'm doing. And so this is one where I took a mini charm and I just folded each of the 2.5-inch squares onto a Hexi, onto a 1-inch Hexi, and then I started putting them together. And I've got all of these sewn together. This is from the Hey Boo line from Lella Boutique. There's several of them here. And then I'm going to take this gray, you can see I'm already started, and I'm going around, I'm going to put gray around them so that I can have negative space in between. You see what I'm doing there? That way these will all pop out and I'll kind of have that honeycomb look. That's how this one's going to go together. So I'm working on that one. And then a smaller one that I'm working on is using some of the scraps from the quilt that was hanging up behind me. I'm going to do I've done dark blue around a crab, and then I'm going to do half of this second ring is going to be blue and half of it's going to be tan. It's going to alternate, and then the final ring is just going to be tan, and that's it. That's all I'm doing with that one. So this is another Hexi tray that I'm working on. And those are the only Hexi projects that I have. But I do have this finally started and ready to start sewing. This is the lion from Violet Craft. It is an EPP kit. I bought this at QuiltCon in Raleigh. All of the fabric is now basted and ready to go. It's going to be great, and I am super excited to start sewing this together. So that's one project that's in the works and is on a tray. I just decide which one I'm going to work on each night. I like to have multiple of them going. And then I have a few others in the hopper for projects that I can do in the future, but am not ready to start just yet. I have bought a large assortment of Hexi papers, so I have those in my stash. I also have, oh yeah, I have that. Let's show this. I've gone a little crazy with buying some Hexi patterns, so I will be doing these for a little while. Okay. I said, oh girl, let me show you. So first off, I bought this pattern. It's called the Fruit Basket. It is mostly Hexis, but there are some other shapes in there, and I thought that was really cute. And then I am going to do this. I want to do a Tula Pink EPP. So I bought Tula Nova. This is the pattern and all the paper pieces, and this is the template pack. And then I bought these 3D stars. This is the pattern and the paper pieces. I also bought this from Libs Elliott. I thought that was really cute. It is the pattern with all of the pieces. I bought Walkabout Stars. This is the pattern with all of the pieces. And I accidentally bought two of these, but I don't hate it. It is the Diamond Dust Pillow. It is the paper pieces and the pattern, and this is a beginner friendly. So all of these from paper pieces anyway, they're rated at the bottom, whether it's advanced, intermediate, or beginner. So I'm focusing right now on the stuff that is beginner, but I know I'm going to want to graduate into the intermediate soon. But right now I'm just focusing on beginner. And then one more pattern that I bought. This is Star Blossom. It is the complete piece pack. It is just the paper pieces. And the pattern for this is actually in a book that I bought. So I have the book over on my shelf. It's got a bunch of different patterns in there. And this is from Sarah Thomas of Sarah Diddy. So the question, are you going to do more shapes other than just Hexis? Yes, girl. Yes. When? Don't know. But I think I'm stocked up in different projects that I can do for EPP for a while. So I'm just going to put all these back where I got them. Oh, and then I did have one more. I'll show you this because I've done this now twice, and I've got enough paper pieces here that I could probably do it a few more times, and I can always cut them out and do them. Last year at QuiltCon, they were giving the paper pieces booth was, or the Free Spirit booth, both Free Spirit and paper pieces, sorry. They're giving this away. It was the pattern with the paper pieces, and there was enough in each package to make 2 of this bowl. I've made 2 already, and then Ian gave me his because he was like, I'm never going to do that. So now I have enough to make 2 more. This is a beginner project. It's a lot of fun, and I just finished one for Ian in Halloween fabric that he loves. I gave it to him this evening when I saw him. And I made one in all purple fabric for Mary. That one takes me a few hours to put together, a couple of evenings. Let's see. Got a few chats in here. Let's see what's going on. Scroll back up. Alicia had mentioned it. Rumor has it that Tulisha is finally going to come out of hiding soon. She is. So you're going to want to, If you listened to the podcast, you knew we were teasing out somebody who had never been seen on either of our channels is finally going to be seen. So if that's not a big enough hint for you, I don't know what to tell you. Deb says, I am loving the 2025 Sew Becca monthly sew along. Only one I am doing, so I won't get overwhelmed. Thanks for the opportunity, Becca. I'm glad that you're liking that. I'm so happy that that's bringing you some joy. Deborah says, I always watch your channel from the TV. I am now getting together supplies to make Hexis. Thank you for introducing me to something new. Eve at 72 years old. Aw, thanks. Let's see. Thanks for showing all the different patterns for paper piecing. Very inspiring. I need to try EPP. Yep, I love it. Where do you get the bowl pattern and templates? So the bowl pattern was a freebie at QuiltCon. I don't know if it's for sale, but you could check out, I'll give you a couple of links that you could use. You could check out Fat Quarter Shop. The link is in the live chat. You could also check out my Amazon storefront, and I don't think there's anything in there, but that is my affiliate link, and you could use that to buy whatever you want on Amazon, and I can get a little commission from that. I think that's probably it. Those would probably be the only links that I have for you to look for those. So I would just look for Paper Pieces Pentagon Bowl, I think is what it's called. Are you going to buy the Lori Holt fabric for the Americana seed blocks or use your stash? I'm using my stash. When do you put your PDF pattern for the block of the month quilt along? It always goes up the Thursday before the video drops, and the video drops on the second Saturday of every month. That has been, it's been easy to do, but it has been difficult to explain because the second Thursday the second Saturday might not always be after the second Thursday. Sometimes it might be the first Thursday, I think. So it's been a little difficult to explain. I think a lesson learned for that is the pattern and the video are going to drop at the same time in the future. I know you have the thread on your Amazon shop, but which one? Actually, I don't think I have this thread that I'm using on the Amazon storefront, but I will add it. The one that I have there is Daco Bob 80 weight, and that one's great. But the one that I was using tonight is Wonderfill in Visifill. I love it. It is 100 weight thread. I will put some of that on on the Amazon storefront probably this evening. Pamela Troxel. Oh, hold on. Where are you going? She's. I already answered that one. Okay, cool. Hello, Layla. She says, good evening, all. Hello. Angel, is it Angel? We'll say Angel. Robichaud says, now I want to start EPP. You are a bad influence on me. Oh my gosh, Shell Stitch and More says, I just measured all the Hexis I was going to give you. I didn't make them. I inherited them. And they're all 1.25. Hey, listen, send them anyway. They might not go into this quilt, but I'll put them together into something. Hexis are like, they're a no-brainer. They just, I love it. If you're not going to use them, I'll take them. All right. It is almost 10 o'clock. I don't know if you can hear, but my voice is starting to not work so well. Probably need some water, but maybe I also need to stop talking for the evening. I've got the Hexis put up for the night, so I'm going to call it done. I got through 3 or 4 of them, which is not bad considering we've been live for about 2 hours. Thank you, friends, so much for hanging out with me tonight. Remember a couple of things. If you have a Facebook account, make sure to hop over to my Facebook page. I think this is to the group. That's the group. But if you go to Alicia can drop the link to the main Facebook page. You can grab, sorry, I'm trying to answer a question. Make sure to follow and like the main Facebook page to keep on top of the behind the scenes content that's coming out. Somebody did ask, do you have a link for the needle threader? Jacqueline asked, and I want to make sure I had a chance to answer that. I do. It is in my Amazon storefront under the EPP list. So you can click on that, hop over there and pick that up. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with me. I appreciate the company. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Make something lovely, and I'll see you guys next Friday. Bye. Let's see if I can hit the button.